Like millions of Americans, Janet Huffstetler felt diabetes ruining her life. Then she changed her diet.
I will tell you, I have never felt so good. I think having my body free of sugar and carbs and processed chemicals has made such a difference.
It's a far cry from the fear she felt 8 years ago when doctors first diagnosed her with diabetes. She saw what it did to her uncle.
He ended up on full dialysis and blind, and he also had coronary bypass surgery, and they had started talking about amputation, but he died.
Diabetes is when there's too much sugar in the blood. The standard treatment is largely medication. Janet's first doctor put her on medication that led to weight gain and depression.
And this kind of made me sluggish, it made me dizzy, it made me lethargic.
Daily life became a series of finger sticks, constantly monitoring her blood sugar levels. Believing there had to be a better way, she changed doctors.
I came home and Googled, and Dr. Westman's name kept coming up, and I was fortunate enough to get in to see him.
That appointment sent her to the nationally recognized Duke Lifestyle Medicine Clinic and Dr. Eric Westman, who helped reverse Janet's diabetes through his diet-only approach.
Diabetes and obesity is complicated. There are lots of factors that are involved, but most experts agree that it's the foods and the beverages that people eat that are the major cause for diabetes and obesity in the U.S. And so that should be the major focus of treatment.
Instead of treating the sugar in his patient's blood with medicine, Westman simply eliminates their sugar intake.
The program is tremendously successful if you do it.
Susan Hollowell did it and went from spending $400 a month on diabetes drugs down to zero.
I was insulin dependent, 5 injections a day. The third day of my diet, my blood sugar dropped to 150, and I asked Dr. Westman, what should I do about my insulin? I didn't want to go over. And he said, get off of it.
That was 3 months ago. Now she's 20 pounds lighter with greater energy than before. Dr. Westman admits it's not easy for some people to give up sugar.
There's a feed forward, a drive that comes from eating sugar, that eating sugar makes you want to eat more sugar.
So his patients use artificial sweeteners to manage their withdrawal symptoms.
After a while, you don't crave those things anymore. You don't want it.
In addition to sugar, Dr. Westman's diabetes diet also limits starches like bread, pasta, and rice because they also raise your blood sugar. Surprisingly, the diet allows patients to eat fats, the unsaturated kind like olive oil and avocados, and saturated fat like coconut oil and butter. Although this diet may sound revolutionary, it's actually a throwback. This is an old medical textbook from the year 1900, before insulin was discovered, advising physicians to put their diabetic patients on a low-carbohydrate, high-fat diet. Dr. Westman tells his patients not to worry about eating saturated fat because the latest science reveals it does not cause heart disease.
So now we're in a phase of education, trying to get the word out on how the cholesterol in the blood and the heart arteries and all that do not get adversely affected by a high-fat diet.
So to avoid diabetes or reverse it, put the brakes on sugar and starch. It's not always easy, but well worth the effort. Lori Johnson, CBN News.